Okay, my name is Douglas Thompson. I'm an Airsoft gun tech, and these are my hard recoil steel buffers I make, called the Bolt. I'm going to show you some different options that you have for this particular product of mine. First of all, like when you think of a buffer, and especially in a gas blowback gun, you think of usually like a sort of stock one. Like this is a stock GMP plastic buffer that sort of comes with like the crappier kits. This is just a standard sort of M4 buffer, and this is sort of like a more used standard M4 buffer. And these are both aluminum, but as you can see, I mean, these are obviously heavier than this, but I mean you can hear the mass difference. So usually when you think of or when companies try to sell you in something, they'll be like, to increase your recoil, you need more mass, right? And the lighter the mass, the more gas efficient your gun is, but you get less recoil, less realism, and just overall like less of an experience. So while these are great for gas efficiency and whatnot, like you just don't get the same feeling you do with a heavy buffer. And and these are great as well. They're a step up from the plastic ones, but the steel buffers are where it's at. I offer them in various finishes and types. This is the standard sort of buffer with a matte black finish and sort of a rubberized bottom portion for a little bit of so it doesn't eat up your. It's not like metal on metal directly. And these are all buffers I've used in my guns. So I'm just kind of giving you a view of some of the ones because I don't have any currently available to show off besides the ones that I use in my own guns. So I'm just kind of showing you some of the various differences and features you can come to expect. They'll all have a polished head, and they'll all have if you look at it, there's an angle right here to make it to where easier insertion into your buffer tube, so it slides past your buffer lock without needing to push the buffer detent or the buffer lock down. You can just slide it in and then it'll lock in place. So that's one thing that you'll come to expect with these. I'm not sure why it's not focusing. So like these scratches are from use. These are my own personal buffers that I've created for myself. I can make them any custom length you want. These are different finishes. This is sort of like the gold sort of heat treated sort of look, and again, like there is wear in the buffer. And this is the hardtail version, meaning it's metal to metal contact, which as a caution or a warning, this can affect the reliability of your parts in terms of your buffer tube and things. Obviously, the more mass being transferred to the back of the buffer tube is gonna cause more wear and tear in your parts. But if you're the kind of person that recoil is most important to you in realism, then it's something that you're willing to take a chance on. I've had experienced no problems whatsoever with any of my guns with these buffers. So you don't have to really. It's not something that's like a constant worry, but if you have like low quality parts, I wouldn't recommend running this without some kind of a shock absorbing quality. And this is a so the ones I offer, the standard ones, standard length buffers, which are similar in length to the regular buffers, the standard buffers, I should say. are, you know, you have the option to include the sort of shock absorbing qualities of the rubber tip, or the rubber bottom, if you want to call it that, or you can go with the hardtail version, which has the most recoil and it's the loudest because it's metal on metal. Something you can do, something I've been doing personally on my guns is you can put like a few, you know, depending on the weld lines of your buffer tube at the bottom. I've run into some buffer tubes that have like large weld lines, and you can actually fit a nickel in between those lines and stack them up, maybe 1 or 2 nickels, and then a quarter. A quarter fits perfectly in a buffer tube, and that it provides a little bit more of a buffer for the buffer. So when it hits the back of the buffer tube, like this is what absorbs the majority of the recoil, not the recoil, the stress. So and not your buffer tube itself. So like something as simple as this quarter, or even washers and stuff work sometimes. Or if you already have a pre-installed rubber buffer tube pad, or whatever you want to call it. These actually come pre-installed a lot of times in certain guns. These are used, of course, but these are rubber shock absorbing pads. So like when the buffer comes back, like it runs into this instead of the bottom of your buffer tube. But what I do is I remove that. If it's in there. You can just look down at the flashlight or your phone or whatever light source you want and confirm if you have that or not. If it's if you're worried about it, you can keep it installed and go with a standard length, and the standard length will be pretty much a direct replacement to this. So you'll experience no issues in terms of if this works in your gun, this will work in your gun, kind of thing. If you are the type that likes to have faster rate of fire, and you're going to want to go with the short strokes, which is they're longer, so it's kind of ironic that they're called, you know, the short model. But the fact that these are longer means the bolt has less room to travel. So it goes to the farthest position that this buffer will allow, and then returns even quicker to battery because it's a shorter distance, shorter length. So these will make it to where, unless you've modified your bolt carrier, your bolt catch will not work. And it's not really a big deal, but if you're the type like me that likes realism, you know, these will not allow your bolt catch to function, unless like I said, unless you modify your bolt carrier to allow that. And all that you have to do is remove some of the material from the bolt carrier to make it to where your bolt catch engages sooner on the bolt carrier. But again, that's a modification that is not necessary with the standard length. And this is actually a custom length. If you want to do some experimentation or something, as you can see, it's a little bit longer, and this is the hardtail version. You can send me your measurements, and I will make a specific length buffer specifically for your gun or your measurements that you've confirmed to be correct. So basically what this service is I offer is it's 100% custom. You can choose your options, you can choose your lengths. If you want standard length, you just write in the email or whatever that you want the standard length. Or if you want the short stroke length, which is this length right here, then go ahead and choose that. So like those are the two standard options. Anything else besides that, you'll have to send me your measurements that you want in terms of the length. Overall length is what I'm talking about, from the very tip to the very tip. Tip to tip. Tip, 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 tip. So yeah, and what type of finish you'd like. If you want the matte black, you can have the matte black. If you want if you want the entire bolt carrier to look like it's a shiny metal, brushed nickel or whatever type you relate that finish to, you can do that. If you want the sort of heat treated look, you can have that. Or if you want a raw look, a good example is right here. This is actually one I'm kind of experimenting on right now, but this right here, this is like a oil from. I'm just doing some experimenting with this one, but that's like a sort of a raw look right there. And if you want that, you can have that. So just kind of tell me what you want, and I'll let you know your options and how much it'll be. Right now, I'm lowering the price on the standard length. These are going for $20, including shipping. So like it's $20 flat for the customer, and the short strokes are $25. And if it takes if you want something like that's going to take a little bit extra time in terms of like if you send me kind of like a concept to work with or something, it might cost a little bit extra. But for now, all the finishes cost the same, so you can choose whatever finish you want for the same price. And until that becomes a problem or becomes difficult for me to do, that's how it's going to stay. So and I'll definitely let you know if it changes. But for now, all the finishes are the same price, and the only thing that's different about the price is the length. So if you want a short stroke, $25. If you want the standard stroke, $20. Be sure to include the length, the finish, and the type of, if you want a hardtail, which is just metal to metal contact. Again, it gives you the most recoil, and it gives you the most audible clack, like when it bap, bap, bap. And like for instance, I'll give you an example here. Okay, so this is my M4. So I'm gonna be off camera just so you can hear the difference here. I'm going to show you the difference in sound here. So this is like the rubber coated one. I'm gonna place it in my M4 here, and I'm gonna rack the bolt. This is the rubber coated. Okay. Now I'm going to be inserting the hardtail version, and which is my personal favorite. I love the hardtail because for one, it just looks cooler, and less to go wrong because it's just a flat out piece of metal. This is the hardtail. Get on in there. There we go. That's the hardtail, and as you could hear, it was a much more audible clack, so you get a more satisfying time when you charge your weapon, and also every time it fires. I'll give you an example of what the sound is like here. And I'm not sure I have enough gas to do this, but we shall find out. I don't think I have enough gas, but we'll do it every shot if we have to. So, let's see. This is the hardtail. And this magazine is leaking. This is the soft, or the rubber coated. And as you can see, that's super quick. If you've never changed out a buffer, that's all there is to it. This is the rubber coated. Sounds a little bit softer, and the recoil is a little bit softer as well. Again, if you want the most recoil, then you go with the hardtail. And so that's a little demonstration. I'll be doing a recoil demonstration once I get my gear a little bit up and running, in terms of the differences to show you if there's a visual difference with a standard buffer, such as this or this or this, compared to the all steel heavy recoil models that I make here. So if you're interested, throw me an email to airmageddonairsoft.com, or no, sorry, at gmail.com. Sorry about that. It's spelled just like it sounds, air and then Mageddon, so like Armageddon, but Airmageddon, airsoft at gmail.com. And email me if you have any questions or anything about the pricing, or something that you have, like if you have a specific model that's a little bit different, you can send me the dimensions and I'll make it work for it. So shoot me a line, and hopefully I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.